Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have one more Netflix review for you on my couple that I've been watching lately. It's a show called The Staircase. Now this is a real life documentary about the author Michael Peterson, who was accused of killing his wife back in December of 2001. And basically the documentary picks up from obviously when that incident happened, all through the sort of trial and stuff, because he was accused of murdering his wife. She basically fell down a set of staircases. When they found her, there was blood everywhere. There were many cuts on her head, and the detectives who obviously initially went to the scene after he called 911 to get the medics in, thought he killed her. He was arrested, trial took place. This is where the documentary happens, but goes through, it's kind of split into two parts, and I'm trying not to spoil too much because it is something. It's best that you go into it without knowing the outcome of the trial. Don't Google it before you watch it. Just kind of watch the trial and see how it happens, because there are a few kind of twists and turns in this. Obviously, you'd think, because the documentary crew mainly follow Michael Peterson and his legal team and how they're constructing the scene to how, obviously, because they're trying to defend him, so they're trying to obviously prove that he didn't kill her. So you'd think the documentary kind of leans more that way, that he's innocent. But as much as you don't really see a lot of from the other side, the prosecution side of things, obviously who are trying to prove that he did kill her, during the trial parts you hear some things and you kind of makes you question, maybe. So there are a few sort of twists and turns that make you think, well, did he do it, did he not do it? And they kind of, about halfway through, because it's split into two parts, halfway through we get the verdict of the initial trial, and then it kind of jumps to I think it's something like 8-9 years later, where new evidence comes about and he has to be trialed again for this new evidence and this new things that have come to light, and that's where I think I could have done with it just watching the initial trial, because it was quite interesting. Obviously hearing all the different versions, and now they bring in this fact, the prosecution changes it and changes it to their thing, and you're a little bit kind of conflicted as well as the kind of documentary film takes place. But then once you get the verdict in the initial trial, the second part of it, which kind of takes place a few years later, is a bit sort of wishy-washy. By this point you've heard the story of what happened that night over and over and over again, and you're kind of just a bit sort of just downbeat by it by that point. So I would say watch it all to the very end, because it is quite interesting, that stuff that comes up and obviously what happens from there. But if you wanted to kind of start once you kind of hear the initial verdict from the original trial, I wouldn't blame you. But I would recommend staying to the very end, because at the very end of the credits on the very last episode, there's a little 3-minute short that really kind of changes your opinion of the entire trial. It doesn't come up all the way through, it's kind of left completely ambiguous. This is something that I think only came about maybe years or so after the trial had ended, so it was kind of tacked on at the very end. So the end credits at the very last episode, there's something in there really kind of changes your mind about the whole thing. I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it. Like I said, if you are going to watch it, do recommend don't look up the trial, don't look up the results or anything. Where's Michael Peterson these days? Because it spoils it a little bit. I think it's your best to kind of going into it as kind of clean as possible. That's why I'm trying to be a bit vague here with kind of what happens during the trial. But it is really good, it is interesting. Like I said, you could cut it off by the time you hear the original verdict. Stick on the end if you want to kind of catch the other sort of bits and pieces and stuff like that. But it is a very interesting show. It does kind of keep you guessing in terms of whether he did it or he did not. And I do recommend it. And that's it for that one really. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye.